I'm going to say this until we all get on the same page. Being single is better than whatever this is. So this woman posted in the relationship subreddit, and I can see that I am really early into this post, but that is okay because I am talking to y'all that we have got to stop accepting this. We've got to stop pulling them along, because once you get them in the relationship that you had to beg and plead for them to be in, that doesn't mean that they are going to actually be good and supportive and loving men in your relationship. So stop trying to pull them along and beg them, because once again, being single is better than this. She is 35, he's 33. She says, I don't know if I'm begging for the bare minimum from my partner. And if she is typing that in a title, she knows that she is begging for the bare minimum. But let's look at the post. She says, I and my partner have been together for 3 years. It started amazing, where he was very attentive, expressive, and a good partner all around. Then came a situation where he disappeared on me when a crisis happened. He shut down completely, and his ex, who he has a child with, pissed him off at the same time. When I expressed that I didn't appreciate how he treated me at that time, to him it was too much, and ended up breaking up with me after ghosting me and pushing me away for 2 weeks during Valentine's Day and my birthday. That's when I realized he's an avoidant, and he triggered my anxious self. And he came crawling back to me, and we set boundaries at that time. Things got better, great even, for a while. But the thing I keep bringing up is that he doesn't show me affection like he used to do, doesn't initiate physical contact, and is slowly killing me. I brought it up multiple times, explaining love languages. The whole love languages thing is a scam, y'all. I do realize that, but it's in here. It was created by a Christian man to basically keep women serving their man. And that's basically why acts of service is always a man's love language. Sorry for that aside, because I know that someone is going to say, can you talk about love languages? Love languages is Christian propaganda. Okay, so back to her story. She says, I brought it up multiple times, explaining love languages and how mine is physical touch, and him doing acts of service isn't registering to me as love, but still nothing. I'm bringing my energy back to me, not pursuing, suffering in silence, but focusing on me, and he's still not pursuing. If he's still not pursuing, why are you pursuing him or wanting him? He still does more and more acts of service, so clearly he still tries to show me he loves me, but again, still misses the mark. He also never apologizes. I don't know what to do or think. We were talking about trying to have a family, and I know he's a good dad. His son is 9 years old, but I question, is he a good partner? I may be spiraling too much and focusing too much on this, and I can't see the bigger picture because I sleep so badly. I need help telling me if it's a waste of my time and energy. I don't even know if it's just an adult relationship and I have to work through it, or if I should give up. I'm so emotionally drained, and I don't even know if loving or caring relationships exist where you're treated like a gem. If I'm staying, how do I convince him to do the work? You can't convince anybody to do anything. He would have to want to do something. And the thing is, why would you want to have a child with a person who bounces and ghosts when there's something that comes up? Why would you want to have a baby with this person? Because what if something, some emergency happens with your child and he shuts down? You know how he will be in an emergency because he has already shown you. So to do that and have a family is a terrible idea. What if you have a child and you get sick and he has to take care of this child for an extended period of time? Or if he has to take care of you while he's sick, he has to take care of you while you're sick for an extended period of time. Will he shut down on you? There are so many reasons to not want to continue this relationship. You're not compatible. You're not listening to each other or, reacting or supporting each other how they need to be supported. This does not sound healthy. This does not sound sustainable in the long term. And pulling someone that does not want to be with you is just a waste of energy. You're stressing yourself for no reason. Different assignment says, girl, he missed your birthday and Valentine's Day. That would deeply upset me, and it's not about the gifts. Did he make it up to you? I don't think a good partner would do that. And then no suggestion honed in on ghosting me and pushing me away for 2 weeks during Valentine's Day and my birthday. This person says, birthday part has happened to me. I feel you. This sucks. And then this person hones in on, I don't even know if it's just an adult relationship and I have to work through it or if I should just give up. And saying, well, about this, how do I convince him to do the work? And then this person says, here's the problem of the relationship at the root. He doesn't seem like he's either capable or willing to do the work. The default answer is he is not willing. You can't help people who don't want to be helped. You might want to consider relationship therapy in order to understand better what's going on here. From the brief explanation you gave here, I think one definite thing is your love language is wildly different. While this happens often, I think the responsible partner knows their significant other's love languages and acts accordingly. P.S. I don't even know if loving, caring relationships exist where you're treated like a gem, saying, don't entertain these thoughts. You're just overreacting because you're emotionally drained. They absolutely do. And here's the OP saying, I was with a narcissist for 7 years before that. I genuinely have no idea what the healthy relationship should really feel like. This one felt like the one in the beginning and 70% of the time. If she was in a relationship with a narcissist for 7 years, she may need her own individual therapy to get back to a baseline and to see, what it is in her that she needs to work on to where she is okay with accepting of this. She might actually, because you might have some kind of PTSD from dealing with that, because what she is accepting right now might be better than when she was in a relationship with a narc, but it's still not that good. So she might need, an outside eye or an outside opinion that's looking in and trying to give her some objective idea of what is going on, because this is not it. Lil Sav says, never beg for the bare minimum. You deserve better. This person, Scovini, says, relationships do exist that have the following: physical affection, being communicated love with in a way that you receive best, continued pursuit and investment, love and care. Those are a thing. I'm in one. It has its moments, but a treasure overall. You can get that for yourself. There's someone out there who will do it and won't conveniently shut you out during standard major gifting holidays. And then finally at the bottom, Dancing Graven Hawk says, seems to me like you two may be a mismatch. He's not hearing your pleas and you are suffering in silence. Your relationship should be the calming influence in your life, not the source of pain and suffering, unless you're kinky like that and you like it that way. And with that, I'm going to end it. But my thing is what she accepts or doesn't accept. Hopefully she will get to a place where she understands that she does deserve more than this. But this is just a lesson to us all to stop begging these people. Stop it. Being single is better than begging a man for the basics. Let me know what you think, though. Join the conversation, like, comment, and share. In the previous post, we were talking about a man that ghosted his girlfriend for 2 weeks because something came up and things got too tough. And in that post, I was saying you do not want to be with this type of man in a relationship, because what if you are with them and down the line, something big happens? You have kids, you get sick, you get like this woman, she became disabled after being in a relationship with this man. You don't want to be in a relationship with a person that will disappear when times get tough, because you may need them. Times may get tough for a little while or permanently. You never know. So now I want to go right into this conversation from the relationship advice subreddit. So she's 44, he's 45. She says, I became disabled 3.5 years ago, and my husband sighs when I ask for help with basic tasks. She says, my husband and I have been together for 20 years, married for 10. I became disabled about 3.5 years ago, and despite losing most mobility in my legs, coupled with some significant pain flares where it's hard to move, I still keep up with a lot of tasks. I am also the primary caretaker for my daughter. I dress her, bathe her, feed her, take her to and from school, do homework, etc. I do the shopping, organize family events, do our finances, schedule doctor's appointments, etc. As far as housework, I still do the majority of laundry, dishes, meals for the hubby, my daughter, and myself. I still keep everything tidy and neat in all rooms. I clean the kitchen, windows, clean the bathrooms, even if it's on my hands and knees, but I can't vacuum any longer. Now my husband has always cut the grass, does the pool, hot tub, garbage, etc., and works a full-time job, so I understand he's busy too. I am a type A, and prior to becoming disabled, I did everything and never had to ask for help from anyone. I just did it all. I never asked my husband to vacuum or help with laundry and simple tasks like when he's home from work. Like if he could retrieve a few things for me so I can save some physical steps. For example, I ask, can you get our daughter a snack? Can you throw the laundry in the dryer? It's hard for me to bend some days. Or can you fill my water or get my pills? Mind you, 80% of days he comes home to a meal waiting for him, and we don't bother him until he's showered and finished with dinner, or he's even more grumpy. When I ask him for these favors, I am a lot of the time met with eye rolls, heavy sighs, or sarcastic remarks like, great, or I am so happy to do that for you. I talk to him over and over to nauseam how this hurts my heart very much. It's already hard enough that I have the drive, but not the physical stamina to accomplish the millions of tasks set forth. He said at least 24 times that he'll do better, but it's 3.5 years. It makes me so distant from him. I also lost so much respect for him that it's hard for me to see him as a partner. I know he works hard and has stressors, but I wanted a teammate. I feel cheated. He says, who cares what his response is as long as he does what I ask? What are your thoughts on this? I'm lost on what to do next. Thank you in advance for the reading. His wife appliance has malfunctioned and he's angry about it. Things were fine while she could perform all the tasks that he expected of her without needing anything from him. And this is one of the reasons why I say you have to really know and understand how these people will act under pressure and under stress. And it is already talked about that men will leave their woman. They will leave their wife and girlfriend if something like this were to happen, where he actually is now going to have to be a supportive partner, whereas before, when he had a fully functioning wife appliance, he wouldn't have to do any of these things. A lot of these people do get a wife so that they won't have to think about all of the adulting that goes along with household care and care for children. And now he's having to participate. He's like, okay. Like literally, he's not a partner to her. And I can understand her frustration, but she's going to have to know and understand that it is not going to get any better than this, because he is resentful that his wife appliance has malfunctioned and is not here to serve him like he thought he was getting when he got himself a wife appliance. Then Let's Keep Dancing says, a lot of people aren't very good about that in sickness and health stuff. So sorry. It ended my marriage when I got sick. And here's the OP saying, I'm very sorry to hear that and hope you landed on your feet okay. Susie Sunshine says, the next time he sighs or give a sarcastic remark, your response should be, get out. I cannot put into words the amount of stress that will immediately vanish once you kick this useless piece of garbage out of your life. Imagine a world without his mess, a world without his demeaning words, voice, presence, a world where you can feel what you feel, love how you love, exist without judgment. Kick him out. He is a child. Tell him no, mean it. Free yourself from his opinion, ego, nonsense, and put yourself and your child first. So this kind of advice, telling this woman to do this, is very short-sighted. is short-sighted because we don't know her financial situation. She tells us that she's disabled, but she doesn't tell us if she's still working or not, if she still has some income, if she has the capacity to work from home. How will she take care of herself? She might be, she's feeling a type of way, and I get that. But she's also going to have to think about how she's going to care for her child, how she's going to financially support herself and her child if she were to kick him out. Because if he is the main breadwinner, she's going to have to navigate that. So, I get the rah, let's go. But she's not just a single woman who's healthy that can just go to work and pick up after just leaving. So people have to be a little bit more, like this person say, nuanced with the things that they say. You have to look at the bigger picture, and you can't just say, just go. Because what if she actually, in this particular moment, needs him and needs to bide her time for the sake of survival? Then Let's Keep Dancing says, it's nuance. If she doesn't have any money, then she needs to get her ducks in a row. My husband started an affair when I got sick, and it took me a couple of years to decide what I would ask my dysfunctional mother if I could move back in with my child. And getting disability takes a couple of years too. Right, so don't just say leave. People need to be a little less impulsive and have some strategy. Serious Escape says, honestly, some people don't think. OP is disabled and doesn't work. Where's she going to go on a whim? Educational B got downvoted to hell. This person says, the F kind of response is this. Caregiving fatigue is a real thing. Therapy and counseling would be much better for them instead of man bad, leave now. It's not just man bad. He is resentful of having to do small things. She's not asking him to go above and beyond. This just seems like basic stuff. So he is kind of doing the whole man bad, leave now thing, but she can't just leave now. And this dude is not fatigued from this. He's just resentful and bitter because his appliance is breaking down and he didn't get what he bargained for. Vampire in Real Life says, yeah, the caregiving fatigue that famously comes from grabbing a glass of water or moving the laundry to the dryer for the person who is cooking your meals and cleaning your whole house and raising your kid for you. And then Twin Mom Wine Addict says, my husband does all these things I asked him to do without a sigh, and I'm not even disabled. I just don't want to do them myself, not because he is a caregiver, but because he is a good partner. Yes, so that's where we are. You kind of, I don't know. The whole thing about me connecting the first post to this post wasn't to say that this woman knew that he would act like this when situations become stressful. The reason why I did that is because if a person is showing you signs that they will disappear when you're not disabled or before you have kids, definitely don't continue a relationship, because it could get like this when things start to get tough and there's a kid, and now you are stuck with this person who is not a partner. Anyways, let me know what you think. Like I said before, and other people have said, this is a nuanced situation, but just still chime in and let me know what you think. So I'm already seeing red flags from the title alone. The age gap, and it looks like she has gotten herself a pest that wants to nest and rest. And she might be marrying that pest that wants to nest and rest. Because she is 27, he's 35, and she's asking the question, do I just accept that my fiancé can only pay a small portion of the bills and not question it? We have got to be okay with deprogramming the need to stay silent and just accept things, because how are you going to submit to this and you're paying more money? This becomes an absolutely the F not. That's what this is. Absolutely the F not. But let's look at the post. She says, TLDR, my fiance gets angry when I talk about money. Currently, we need to move into a bigger place for his daughter, and he refuses to pay 50-50. Do I just accept that he can only pay a small portion of the bills and not question it despite his good income? Absolutely not. What? We have got to start talking to our daughters about having an assertive voice and speaking up for ourselves, having some confidence. For too long, too many women are just taught to be silent be sweet, be kind, and absolutely, we're not doing this anymore. We're going to talk. We're going to ask questions. We're going to do all of these things. Okay, so she says, for context, my fiance and I have lived together 4 or 5 months now. Currently, I pay the majority of the bills, about 70-30, which I agreed to as this was my apartment first and was supposed to be temporary until we found a bigger place. The plan was to split bills 50-50 when we moved. We are at the point now that we really need a bigger place. He has a daughter we have on the weekends, and currently she is sleeping in the living room. When I asked him how much he can afford in rent, he told me $600 a month total for his half of the rent, electricity, Wi-Fi. He makes $65,000 annually and has minimal other bills. Also, prior to moving in with me, he paid $1,100 a month in rent alone. So I'm not sure why now he can only afford $600, because he is using you. A few times now, I have asked him to sit down with me and create a budget, as he makes enough money to pay more than $600 a month in bills. And quite frankly, that won't even cover half of the rent for a 2-bedroom apartment in my city, much less the added cost of utilities and Wi-Fi. Every time this happens, he gets angry, yells at me, accusing me of being judgmental when it comes to money, and storms off. When truly all I care about is making sure we get a bigger place with the room for his daughter. He refuses to make a budget and says that it's unnecessary and that he is a grown man who has never had to have one. At this point, I believe he just expects me to shoulder paying more in bills, and I feel a little used. I do make more money, but not by much, $75,000. I'm just not sure what to do at this point. Do I just accept the amount he gave me and not question it? However, that puts me in a situation where I'm paying a majority of the bills, which I don't feel is fair. It's not fair. He is using you. You have a good feeling about this because that is what is happening precisely. The fact that he was paying $1,100 in rent before now and he won't. What is he doing with the other money? What is he doing with that other $500 that was going specifically to rent and not other bills? This is not a fair setup. Initially, I can understand why you had it set up that way, but the daughter needs her own space, and you're setting this up so that they can live comfortably. I do not believe that this is a sustainable situation or relationship, because if you can't even talk to this man about budgeting, how are you going to tie your life to him financially? This does not seem like a productive situation. But she's seeing it before she actually signs a lease and before she gets married. What will she do with that situation? I do not know. Fart Master Champ, now that's a name, says, that's not your boyfriend, that's your sugar baby. This has to be rage bait, right? No one can possibly be this dense. Calling a person dense is not going to help the situation. But here's the OP saying, not dense, I guess just naive. I was raised to never question a man. It's hard to unlearn. So she was raised to never question a man, but then Miss Bobby Doll says, but were you raised to pay all of the bills? It's like you can't be both. You can't be raised to be submissive, but then have to be the breadwinner as well. She did not learn. If she learned to not question the man, then she likewise learned that the man is supposed to be the provider. He's just shutting her down with the anger piece. So she is scared to actually ask more questions, but she's going to have to leave this relationship. Then Jenny Black says this, if you're going to be traditional, then it needs to be all the way. He needs to work and provide for everyone. He can't be unquestioned and not pay the bills. That is my line of thinking. Welly says, sadly, these types of dudes like to take advantage of people who think like you. Stop being naive, make your position clear, and stop letting yourself be exploited. If things are going badly, leave. Rumham says, give him the ring back and tell him to sell it so he can afford to pay his fair share of the bills. Dump the whole man. You don't need him. He's already weighing you down. Mundane Currency says, there we are. This is your problem. Anyone can be wrong. You have obviously seen how wrong church leaders can be. They can't have a vision where you agree without them. Spellbound Silk says, "Hun, please reconsider your relationship with this man. The amount of the bills he can or cannot pay aside. It is normal. It is a normal part of any serious relationship and marriage to have discussions about finances. He's throwing tantrums to get you to stop asking about finances, which is unacceptable. Him not showing his side of his personality until you had a ring on his finger, manipulative. You are getting used. Once you have sorted this relationship out, I would try to talk to someone to try to work through your feelings about men or leeches like your fiance will continue. I'm sorry, or leeches like your fiance will continue to try to take advantage. Yes, she's going to have to figure this out on how to be assertive, confident, ask questions, and all of that, not just go along to get along. Training Guitar at the bottom says, "Oh dear Lord, of course you can and should question a man. My Lord, smarten up now before he sinks you into financial ruination." Naughty Colibri says, "Laughing my butt off, this would not be my fiance. Like everyone so desperate to make a loser a husband." And then she says, "To be fair, he was not like this before the ring, but I get you." And then Lisa says, "It's going to get even worse after he traps you in a marriage. It's a very sad yet very common story. Men only showing their real self, their real face after they think they secured the woman. Cut your losses. Yes, he has let the mask drop, but she's not pregnant yet. She hasn't signed a lease. They're not married yet, so she can get out of this situation." And that's what the person at the bottom says. The next step will be baby trapping. Don't let that happen. Do not let baby trapping happen. Family planning is financial planning, and they know that they can anchor a woman down with a baby. Don't let this happen. Anyways, I'm going to end that there. This woman says he wasn't like that. Please know and understand that these people do wear a mask, but once they let that mask slip, what is your next step? This is the reason why you have to know and understand that there should be plans. B, C, D, G, E, F, G, L, M, N, O, P, all of the plans. Join the conversation. Let me know what you think about all of this in totality. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. Share, share, share. Share with women, share with girls. Let's continue to have a voice. Speak confidently. Ask questions. Know yourself. All of that.
Where are all the pictures of your guys' hot dads on Father's Day? It was 2 days ago. It's the thing I look forward to.
He makes a good point. But I do believe that it's just because we're not celebrating these people anymore. We're not celebrating the bare minimum, and women are matching energy. Daughters are not just celebrating men simply because they're their dads. And I don't think that men really go all out for their daddies anyway. So if the women start opting out, and the women start opting out of all of these holidays, things are really about to shift. I really want to see what's going to happen for 4th of July and Thanksgiving and all of that. Because if women stop organizing holiday get-togethers, it's going to be really telling. And I bet you we're going to start seeing more and more holidays just start to fizzle out. But y'all chime in and let me know what you think about that.
Where are all the pictures of your guys' hot dads on Father's Day? It was 2 days ago. It's the thing I look forward to most during that holiday is that I get to just scroll online and look at everyone's really smoking fucking hot dads. And I'm a little confused because I didn't see a lot of them this year. I didn't see anyone posting a lot of photos this year. And I have to assume that's because we're all so fucking stressed about what Trump's doing and the state of the world. And we're probably going to war and people are getting snatched off the streets. And like, we won't get to have red food dye anymore in our stuff. So goodbye to the Kool-Aid man. And all I could think about was that that's probably stressing a lot of people out right now. And they don't post pictures of their hot dads. It is just another thing that the world, we have so little to love and to look forward to. All I want to see is some hot daddies. And I didn't even get that this year. Have we not suffered enough